The bell rang and Zoraya moved faster than Katie had ever seen anyone move. Her forearms struck out in different directions, creating a wall of fists. Katie barely managed to duck under the first two strikes and jump back from the other two. The sand sprayed up from where Zoraya's fists hit the ground, leaving small craters. Katie circled to the left, keeping her distance and watching how Zoraya moved. The princess did not chase her right away. Instead, she walked calmly forward, her silver eyes never leaving Katie's face. It was like being stalked by a predator who knew its prey could not escape. Then Zoraya attacked again. This time she used her lower arms to grab, while her upper arms punched. Katie dropped to the ground and rolled. Between Zoraya's legs, the crowd gasped. Nobody expected the small human to move like that. Katie jumped up behind the princess and kicked hard at the back of her knee. Zoraya stumbled forward just a step, but it was enough to show she could be hurt. The princess turned around, and for the first time she looked interested instead of bored. "You fight without pattern," Zoraya said while circling Katie. "Most species have a fighting style they follow religiously, but you change every few seconds. This is unexpected." Katie did not answer. She needed to save her breath. She had noticed something important. Zoraya's crystal armor had small gaps where the pieces connected. At the shoulders, elbows, and knees, the armor plates did not quite touch. If she could hit those spots precisely, she might actually hurt the princess. Zoraya rushed forward again, using all four arms in a spinning attack that looked like a purple tornado. Katie waited until the last second, then dropped flat on her stomach. The princess passed over her, and Katie grabbed one of her ankles, pulling hard. Zoraya lost her balance and fell forward into the sand. The crowd went silent. Nobody had ever knocked Princess Zoraya down before. The princess stood up slowly and brushed sand from her armor. She was smiling now. A real smile, not the cold one from before. "Interesting. Very interesting. You do not fight like a warrior. You fight like a survivor. There is a difference." Katie stayed ready, but she was getting tired. Human bodies were not made for long fights against aliens who were stronger and faster. She had to end this soon or she would lose. They exchanged attacks for 10 more minutes. Zoraya's strikes were powerful and precise, while Katie's were wild and unpredictable. Several times the princess could have killed Katie, but she held back at the last moment. Katie noticed this, but did not understand why. Then Katie saw her chance. Zoraya raised all four arms for a massive downward strike. Katie rushed forward instead of backing away, getting inside the princess's reach. She grabbed two of Zoraya's wrists and used the alien's own momentum to flip her over Katie's shoulder. It was a move she had seen in a martial arts movie, and she could not believe it, actually. Worked. Zoraya hit the sand hard, and Katie jumped on top of her, pressing her knee into one of those armor gaps at the princess's shoulder. Zoraya winced in pain, the first time she had shown any weakness. The crowd was screaming now. Some wanted the fight to stop, others wanted blood. Katie looked down at Zoraya's face and saw something strange in those silver eyes. It was not anger or fear. It was wonder. "You could try to kill me now," Zoraya said quietly, so only Katie could hear. "But you will not. You are not a killer, Katie Ross. You are a protector. I can feel it in your spirit." Katie pressed harder on the armor gap, making Zoraya gasp. "I will do whatever I need to survive." "No," Zoraya said, "you will do whatever you need to protect others. That is why you fought so hard to stay alive. Not for yourself, but because you promised the other humans you would find a way home for all of them." Katie froze. How could Zoraya know about that promise? She had made it to a young man named Sam just before his first fight. He had died, but Katie had kept the promise in her heart. Zoraya used Katie's distraction to reverse their positions. Now the princess was on top with her four arms pinning Katie to the sand, but instead of striking, she leaned down, close to Katie's face. "I have been watching you for weeks," Zoraya whispered. "Every fight you had, every move you made, every word you spoke when you thought you were alone. You talked to the memories of your fellow humans. You apologized for surviving when they did not. You carry their hopes with you." Katie struggled but could not break free. "Why are you doing this? Just finish it." "Because I have never met anyone like you," Zoraya said. Humans are physically weak compared to most species. But you have something we lost long ago. You have spirit, you have determination, you have love that drives you forward, even when logic says you should give up. The princess stood up and pulled Katie to her feet. The crowd was confused, shouting questions in a dozen languages. Zoraya raised all four arms for silence. I have fought this human and found her worthy, Zoraya announced. But more than that, I have found something I did not expect to find in this arena. I have found someone who fights not for glory or entertainment, but for love. Love for her people. Love for those who died before her. Love for a planet she may never see again. Emperor Kraxon stood up in his viewing box, his face showing anger. Zoraya, what are you doing? Finish the match. Zoraya looked at her father, then back at Katie. I am finishing it, father. But not how you expected. She removed her helmet and let her white hair fall freely around her shoulders. Then she did something that shocked everyone, including Katie. She knelt down on one knee in the sand. Katie Ross of Earth, you have defeated me. Not with strength, but with something greater. You have shown me what I had forgotten, that fighting should have purpose beyond victory, that true strength comes from protecting others, not destroying them. The arena fell completely silent. Thousands of aliens stared in shock. Princess Zoraya had never knelt to anyone before, not even her father. Katie Ross woke up in a metal cell for the 90th day in a row. The walls hummed with strange energy, and the purple light from the ceiling never turned off. She sat up on the hard bench and stretched her sore muscles. Today was different. Today was the final match. 3 months ago, Katie had been walking home from her job at a bookstore in Ohio. The next thing she knew, she was on an alien spaceship with dozens of other humans. They were told they had been chosen for the great arena, where different species fought for entertainment and honor. Most humans died in their first match. Katie was the only one from her group still alive. The door to her cell opened with a hiss and 2 guard aliens entered. They looked like giant mantis insects, but walked on 2 legs. Their black eyes showed no emotion as they gestured for her to follow. Katie had learned not to resist. They were 3 times stronger than her, and their claws could cut through steel. They walked through corridors filled with technology Katie could not understand. Screens floated in the air, showing symbols that hurt her eyes to look at. Other aliens passed them in the halls. Some looked almost human, while others were so strange Katie had no words to describe them. They all stared at her with curiosity or hunger or something else she did not want to know. The guards brought her to the preparation chamber where her fight outfit waited. A simple blue jumpsuit that could stretch and bend without tearing, special shoes that helped her grip the arena floor. And most importantly, the translator device that went behind her ear so she could understand what everyone was saying. Katie changed clothes and tried to calm her breathing. She had survived 12 fights so far. Each one had been harder than the last. First, she fought small creatures that were fast but weak, then medium-sized fighters with special abilities. Last week, she had faced a warrior made of living rock who nearly crushed her skull. She won by finding its weakness, a soft spot behind its knee, and hitting it over and over until it could not stand. But today was different. Today, she would face Princess Zoraya. Everyone in the arena complex talked about Princess Zoraya. She was the daughter of Emperor Kraxon, who ruled this entire sector of space. She had been trained to fight since birth and had never lost a match. Her 4 arms could move independently and strike from angles no human could defend against. Her crystal armor was said to be unbreakable, and she enjoyed the fights. Katie had watched recordings of Zoraya's previous matches. The princess did not just defeat her opponents, she destroyed them. She seemed to study them first, learning their moves, and then she would take them apart piece by piece. The crowds loved her. They cheered her name and threw flowers when she won. The guards led Katie through a tunnel toward the arena floor. She could hear the crowd already. Thousands of voices from hundreds of different species, all excited to watch the human die. The sound made her stomach turn, but she kept walking. There was no other choice. Fight or die. That was the rule. The tunnel opened into bright light and Katie stepped onto the sandy arena floor. The space was huge, like a football. stadium but round the walls rose up 50 feet high, and were packed with aliens sitting in rows that went up and up until she could not see the top. Floating cameras buzzed around like mechanical bees broadcasting the fight across the galaxy across. The arena, another tunnel opened and Princess Zoraya entered. The crowd went crazy with cheers and chants. Katie understood why Zoraya was magnificent and terrifying at the same time. The princess stood 7 feet tall with purple skin that seemed to glow from within. Her forearms were long and graceful, but Katie could see the strength in them. Her silver eyes were bright and alert, studying Katie already. The crystal armor she wore caught the light and threw rainbows across the sand. Her white hair was braided and wrapped around her head like a crown. Zoraya walked to the center of the arena with confidence. Each step was smooth and balanced like a dancer. Katie walked forward too, trying not to show fear. They stopped 10 feet apart and looked at each other. The announcer's voice boomed across the arena, speaking in the main galactic language that the translator converted to English. Welcome, beings from across the stars. Today we have a special match. Our beloved Princess Zoraya, defender of the Empire, winner of 100 battles, faces the human Katie Ross from the planet Earth. The crowd booed when Katie's name was mentioned. She was used to it. Humans were new to the galaxy and considered weak and primitive. Most aliens thought they were barely worth noticing. The announcer continued, "This is a death match. The winner receives glory and freedom. The loser dies. There are no rules, except one. Do not leave the arena floor until one fighter can no longer continue." Katie took a fighting stance she had learned from watching videos back on Earth, feet apart, knees bent, hands up. She had no formal training, just movies and instinct. But sometimes that was enough. Zoraya tilted her head, studying Katie's position. Then she spoke, and her voice was clear and strong. "You lasted longer than any human before you. That is impressive." Katie stayed focused, watching all 4 of Zoraya's arms, just trying to survive. The princess smiled, showing teeth that were too sharp to be human, but surviving is not the same as winning. Katie took a deep breath and looked at Princess Zoraya, who was waiting for her answer. The entire arena was silent, watching them. The weight of humanity's future rested on her shoulders, and she felt it pressing down like a mountain. But Katie had carried heavy weights before. "Before I answer," Katie said, "I need to know something. Why did you really choose me? There are billions of humans on Earth. Many of them are stronger, smarter, better than me. Why me?" Zoraya smiled softly. "Because you do not see what I see. You think you are ordinary, but you are extraordinary. You survived here not because you are the strongest human, but because you are the most human. You never lost your compassion, even in this place of death. You never stopped hoping, even when hope seemed foolish. That is why I choose you." Katie felt tears on her cheeks. She had been so focused on surviving that she had not realized how much she had been holding inside. The fear, the grief for the other humans who had died, the desperate wish to see Earth again, it all came flooding out. The Emperor stepped forward, his voice cold enough of this emotional display. "Human, give your answer so we can end this farce." Katie wiped her eyes and stood straighter. She looked at the Emperor, then at the crowds of aliens watching, then finally at Zoraya. The princess was looking at her with such hope that Katie's heart ached. "I accept," Katie said clearly. The arena erupted in chaos. Some aliens cheered while others shouted in protest. The Emperor's face turned darker purple with rage, but Zoraya's face lit up with joy that made her look more beautiful than terrifying. "You accept?" Zoraya repeated as if she could not believe it. "Yes," Katie said with more confidence. "I accept your choice, but I have conditions." The crowd quieted again, curious about what a human would dare to demand. Zoraya nodded for Katie to continue. "First, all humans currently held anywhere in the Empire must be freed and returned to Earth immediately," Katie said. "Second, Earth must be given technology to defend itself so this can never happen again. Third, humans must be treated as equals in all galactic matters, not as primitives or entertainment." The Emperor laughed bitterly. "You dare make demands, human? You are in no position to negotiate." "Actually, she is. Zoraya said, turning to face her father. By accepting my choice, she becomes part of the royal family. Our laws are clear about this, father. You wrote those laws yourself. Katie continued. And one more thing, I want to establish an exchange program. Humans who want to learn about the galaxy can come here safely, and aliens who want to learn about Earth can visit us. We will share knowledge and culture freely. Zoraya took Katie's hands again. Yes to all of it, every condition, every demand. I will make it happen. This is insane. The Emperor shouted. You would give these primitives our technology, our knowledge, our protection. All for what? For love, yes. Zoraya said simply. For love and for the future, father. We have ruled through fear for too long. Our empire is strong, but it is also cold and empty. Humans can teach us to be more than conquerors. They can teach us to be a community. An old alien in elaborate robes stepped forward from the crowd. Katie recognized him as the keeper of laws who oversaw all arena matches. The princess has invoked the champion's choice correctly, he said in a creaky voice. The human has accepted. The conditions stated are within the rights of a royal consort. The law is satisfied. The Emperor looked like he wanted to argue more, but he knew the law was sacred. Even he could not break it. He turned to Katie with eyes full of hatred. You may have won today, human, but you will regret this. My daughter will tire of you. Your species will disappoint us, and when that happens, there will be no protection. For Earth, Katie met his gaze without flinching. With respect, Emperor, I think you are wrong. Humans have a saying that love conquers all. We are about to test if that is true across the entire galaxy. Zoraya stepped between them. Father, please try to understand. This is not just about Katie and me. This is about the future of our empire. We have conquered all the species we have met, but humans are different. They do not need to be conquered, they need to be befriended. They have things to teach us, like what the Emperor sneered, like how to laugh at silly things, Zoraya said, like how to find beauty in ordinary moments, like how to forgive enemies and make them into friends, like how to hope even when everything seems hopeless. She turned back to Katie May. I show them something. Katie nodded, though she did not know what Zoraya meant. The princess pulled Katie close and whispered, Humans have a custom when they agree to be together. They kiss. I have studied this. Would you teach me? Katie's eyes widened. You want me to kiss you? Here. In front of everyone. Zoraya nodded. It would show them that humans and my people are not so different. That connection is possible. Katie looked at the alien princess who had just saved her entire planet. This was not how she had expected her day to go. But then nothing about the last 3 months had been expected. She reached up, put her hand on Zoraya's purple cheek, and pulled her. Down their lips met, and the arena fell completely silent again. It was strange kissing someone so much taller with purple skin and sharp teeth. But it was also just a kiss. A promise. A beginning. When they pulled apart, the crowd exploded. Some aliens were scandalized. Others were fascinated. The younger aliens seemed excited while the older ones looked confused, but everyone was talking. The Emperor turned and walked away without another word. But Katie heard him say to his guards, double the protection on Earth and prepare diplomatic channels. We have a new member species to integrate into the Empire. Zoraya kept her arms around Katie. Did I do the kiss correctly? Katie laughed for the first time in 3 months. It was perfect. The Keeper of Laws raised his staff. The match is concluded. Princess Zoraya has made her choice. Katie Ross of Earth is now Princess Consort of the Empire. Earth is under Imperial protection. Humans are recognized as full citizens of the galactic community. The floating cameras broadcast this announcement across the galaxy. Within hours, the news reached Earth that not only were humans not alone in the universe, but they were now protected by an alien empire because a princess had fallen in love with a bookstore clerk. From Ohio, Katie looked up at Zoraya. So what happens now? Now, Zoraya said, we change the galaxy. Together, we show them that different species can be more than enemies or subjects. We show them what humans have known all along, that love is the strongest Force in the universe. Katie smiled and took Zoraya's hand, ready to go home. Zoraya smiled back, ready to see Earth through your eyes and ready to learn what pizza is. You mentioned it once when you thought you were alone. Katie laughed again as they walked out of the arena together. The crowds parted for them, some still shocked, others beginning to understand that they had witnessed history. The day the galaxy changed. The day love conquered fear, and it all started with a princess saying, "I love you," human, in an arena falling silent. Katie stood frozen in the middle of the arena, staring down at Princess Zoraya, who was still kneeling in the sand. The translator in her ear was working, but Katie could not believe what she was hearing. Around them, thousands of aliens had gone completely quiet, as if the entire galaxy was holding its breath. "Stand up," Katie finally managed to say. "This is not right. You are a princess. I am just a human." Zoraya looked up at her with those silver eyes that seemed to see straight through to Katie's soul. "I kneel because I choose to. For the first time in my life, I have found something worth kneeling for." The Emperor's voice thundered across the arena. "Zoraya, get up immediately. You are bringing shame to our family and our empire." But Zoraya did not move. "Father, you taught me that the greatest warriors recognize truth when they see it. This human has shown me truth. She fights not for herself, but for others. She carries the weight of her entire species on her shoulders, and she does it with grace." Katie reached down and took two of Zoraya's hands, pulling the princess to her feet. "Please stand up. We can talk about this without you kneeling." As Zoraya stood, the crowd began to murmur. Some aliens were angry, others seemed curious. A few were even starting to cheer. Guards began moving toward the arena floor, but Zoraya raised her hand to stop them. "I need to tell you something, Katie Ross," Zoraya said loud enough for everyone to hear. "My people have the ability to sense the essence of others. When we fight someone in combat, we touch their spirit, we know their true nature. And your nature is unlike anything I have encountered before." Katie felt uncomfortable with thousands of eyes watching them. "What do you mean? You humans are contradictions." Zoraya explained, "You are fragile but unbreakable. You are small, but your hearts are vast. You can be cruel, but you choose kindness, even to enemies. You know you will die, but you live as if you are eternal. These contradictions make you beautiful." The Emperor was now walking down from his viewing box, followed by guards. His purple face was dark with rage. Zoraya moved to stand between Katie and her approaching father. "Father, before you speak, let me finish," Zoraya said firmly. "I invoke the ancient right of champion's choice." The Emperor stopped walking. His daughter had just used a law that had not been invoked in 1,000 years. The crowd began talking excitedly as word spread about what this meant. "You cannot be serious," the Emperor said. "You would waste your choice on this human." "It is not a waste," Zoraya replied. "I have won 100 battles. I have brought glory to our empire. I have done everything you asked of me. Now I claim my right to choose my prize, and I choose Katie Ross." Katie grabbed Zoraya's arm, confused. "What does this mean? What are you choosing me for?" Zoraya turned to face Katie and took all of her hands in her four own. "In our culture, the champion's choice is sacred. The winner of 100 arena battles can claim anything, or anyone they desire. No one can object, not even the Emperor." The crowd was getting louder now. Some aliens were standing up, shouting in languages Katie did not recognize, even with the translator. The floating cameras buzzed around them, capturing every moment. "I still do not understand," Katie said. "Then let me be clear," Zoraya said, looking directly into Katie's eyes. "I have fallen in love with you, Katie Ross. Not just with you, but with what you represent. Your humanity, your courage, your refusal to give up even when facing impossible odds. I choose you as my mate, my partner, my equal." Katie felt like the ground had disappeared beneath her feet. This could not be happening. She was supposed to fight and probably die, not have an alien princess fall in love with her. "You do not know me," Katie protested. "We just met. We were trying to kill each other 20 minutes ago." Zoraya smiled. "I know you better than you think. I have watched every fight you had in this arena. I saw you share your food with weaker prisoners even when you were starving. I saw you teach fighting techniques to other humans knowing they would probably die anyway. I saw you cry for strangers and pray to your Earth God for strength, not for yourself but to help others. Tears were forming in Katie's eyes without her permission. You were watching all that time. Yes, Zoraya said. And with each day I watched, I fell more in love with humanity through you. Your species is young and small and weak by galactic standards, but you have something we have lost. You have hope, you have love that conquers fear. You have the ability to find light in the darkest places. The Emperor finally reached them, his face twisted with anger. Zoraya, you cannot do this. Think of our empire. Think of your duty. I am thinking of our empire. Father Zoraya said without looking away from Katie. For too long we have ruled through fear and strength, but humans have something better. They connect through love. They build communities through trust. They create art and music and stories that bring different people together. We need to learn from them. This is madness, the Emperor said. You would throw away everything for a human who will be dead in mere decades. Zoraya finally looked at her father. Then, I will treasure every one of those decades more than the centuries I would live without purpose. She turned back to Katie and spoke softly. I am not asking you to love me back. I am only saying that I choose you. You are free to leave this place and return to Earth if that is what you want. But know that my choice stands forever. You have conquered me not through violence but through being exactly who you are. Katie looked around at the arena at the aliens watching them at the Emperor's furious face and finally at Zoraya's hopeful expression. This was insane. Beyond insane. But she thought about all the humans who had died in this arena. She thought about Earth not knowing what had happened to them. She thought about the promise she had made to protect others. If I accept this choice, Katie said slowly, what happens to Earth? What happens to the other humans who might be captured? Zoraya's eyes brightened. If you accept, then you become royalty by our law. Earth becomes a protected planet. Under the Empire, no one can take humans for the arena ever again. Your people become equals in the galactic community. Katie felt her heart racing. This was bigger than just her. This was about all of humanity's future. She looked at Zoraya, really, looked at her and saw not an alien warrior, but someone offering to change the fate of an entire planet for love. The arena held its breath, waiting for Katie's answer. 3 days later, Katie stood on the bridge of Zoraya's personal starship looking at Earth through the massive viewing window. Her planet hung in space like a blue and green marble, with white clouds swirling across its surface. She had dreamed of seeing it again but never thought it would happen. Zoraya stood beside her, all 4 arms clasped behind her back. It is beautiful, your world. So much water. So much life. Our planet is mostly desert and crystal formations. Katie smiled. Earth is special, but every planet is special in its own way. You will see. The communication system buzzed to life and a human voice came through in English. This is Earth Defense Command. Unknown vessel you are entering, restricted space. Identify yourself. Immediately. Katie leaned toward the communication device. This is Katie Ross from Columbus, Ohio. I was taken 3 months ago. I am coming home with Princess Zoraya of the Galactic Empire. We bring a message of peace. There was a long silence. Then different voice came, through Katie Ross. Your family reported you missing. Are you under duress? Do you need assistance? Katie laughed and cried at the same time. I am not under duress. I am free, and I bring news that will change everything. Earth is no longer alone, Zoraya. Touched a panel and transmitted the official imperial documents declaring Earth a protected planet, and humans as full citizens of the galactic community. The silence from Earth Defense Command stretched even longer this time. Stand by the voice, finally said. We are contacting world leaders. While they waited, Zoraya asked Katie, are you nervous about bringing me to your world? Some humans might fear me. Some might. Katie admitted, but most will be curious. Humans are good at adapting to new things. We have been imagining meeting aliens for generations. Now it is real. An hour later, they received permission to land at the United Nations headquarters in New York, where representatives from every country were gathering. The entire world was watching. As the silver starship descended through the clouds and touched down on the landing pad that had been cleared in the parking lot, Katie walked down the ramp first. She was still wearing the blue jumpsuit from the arena, but someone had given her. An Earth flag to carry cameras flashed and reporters shouted questions, but she ignored them all. Her eyes were searching the crowd. Then she saw them. Her mother and father pushing through the security line. Their faces were full of tears and disbelief. Katie dropped the flag and ran to them. They crashed together in a hug that lasted so long the security guards did not know what to do. My baby, my baby. Her mother kept saying while her father just held them both. When they finally pulled apart, Katie turned to see Zoraya standing at the top of the ramp waiting. The alien princess looked uncertain for the first time since Katie had known her mom. Dad, Katie said, I want you to meet someone. This is Zoraya. She saved my life. She saved all our lives. Zoraya walked down the ramp slowly, trying not to look threatening, despite being 7 feet tall with purple skin and 4 arms. When she reached them, she did something unexpected. She knelt down, just as she had in the arena. You are the parents of Katie, Ross, she said. I am honored to meet you. Your daughter is the bravest being I have ever known. You should be proud. Katie's mother looked at the kneeling alien princess, then at her daughter, then back at Zoraya. Then she did something that surprised everyone. She reached out and touched Zoraya's face gently. Thank you, she said, for bringing our Katie home. Zoraya stood up, and Katie's father offered his hand to shake. Zoraya took it carefully with one of her 4 hands. I understand this is how humans greet each other. The handshake broke the tension, and suddenly everyone was moving. World leaders approached slowly. Scientists pushed forward with questions. Military officials wanted to know about threats. Children who had snuck past security wanted to touch the alien, but Zoraya only had eyes for Katie, who was organizing everything with calm efficiency. She directed the princess to the podium that had been set up. She translated between Zoraya and the world leaders. She explained about the arena and the empire and the champion's choice. The Secretary General of the United Nations stepped up to the microphone. This is the most important day in human history. He said, we are not alone, and we have been invited to join a galactic community. But, more than that, we have been saved by love, by the connection between 2 beings who should have been enemies. He turned to Katie. Miss Ross, the world owes you a debt we can never repay. You endured horrors we cannot imagine to save us all. What can we do for you? Katie took the microphone and looked at the crowds at the cameras broadcasting to billions of people around the world. I did what any human would do. I survived, and I protected others. But now we have work to do. We need to prepare Earth to join the galaxy. We need to learn their technology and teach them our culture. We need to show them that humans belong among the stars. She paused and looked at Zoraya. And we need to remember that love and understanding are more powerful than fear and hatred. That is what saved us. Not weapons or threats, but one being choosing to love instead of conquer. Over the next weeks, Earth changed completely. Alien ships arrived, bringing freed humans home and offering technology and knowledge. Schools started teaching galactic languages. Scientists worked day and night to understand new technologies. The internet exploded with excitement and fear and wonder. Katie and Zoraya traveled across Earth together. The princess tried pizza in New York and loved it. She learned to swim in the ocean in California. She watched movies in Tokyo. She danced at a festival in Rio. She saw the pyramids in Egypt and the northern lights in Norway. And everywhere they went, people slowly stopped fearing her and started seeing her as Katie did. One evening, they sat on the roof of Katie's old apartment building in Ohio, watching the sunset and the alien ships that now dotted the sky. Zoraya took Katie's hand with 2 of hers. Was it worth it? Everything you went through. Katie thought about the friends she had lost in the arena, the pain and fear she had endured, the weight of humanity she had carried. But she also thought about how Earth was now safe, how humans were reaching for the stars, how an empire, built on conquest, was learning about love. Yes, Katie said it was worth it, because we changed everything. Zoraya pulled her close, and we are just beginning. Think of what humans and my people can accomplish together. The art we will create. The worlds. We will explore the understanding. We will build. Katie smiled and rested her head on Zoraya's shoulder. As the stars came out overhead, she saw not distant lights but destinations. New worlds to visit, new species to meet, new adventures to have. The arena where they met seemed like a lifetime ago. Now they had a future to build together. Human and alien Earth and empire. Love conquering fear one day at a time. And sometimes, late at night, Katie would remember that moment in the arena when Zoraya said, "I love you, human," and everything went silent. That silence was not just shock. It was the universe holding its breath before everything changed. Now the universe was breathing again, and it was beautiful.